afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stock Market Today for Thursday, December 12th. It's Alissa Coram here, along with my colleague Ken Shreve, and we've got a breakdown of the action in today's session where we saw stocks back off a bit from their highs yesterday, Ken.
Yeah, pretty orderly declines for the major stock indexes, some selling in small caps, but all in all, not too bad a day. Found three stocks as usual. Let's take a look at Confluent in the database software group, CFLT. Also want to take a look in the heavy construction group, still a highly ranked group, Quanta Services, PWR, and then finish off with Waystar, software provider, WAY.
Okay, well, we'll take a look at those stocks, but first, let's analyze those major indexes, kicking things off with a look at the NASDAQ composite, down a little less than 0.7% today. The S&P 500 off about 0.5%. Same for the Dow Jones Industrial Average, a decline of about 0.5% here. And the Russell 2000 was the hardest hit today amid a hot inflation reading, or warm, maybe we could say warm reading there, with the Russell down about 1.2%. So some key levels in question for the Dow and the Russell. Let's start with the NASDAQ, Ken.
Yeah, well, we had a little bit higher volume on the Nasdaq today, so this is going to be what we would, call a mild distribution day. I mean, it was an inside day. Today's range held within, the high and low of yesterday's range, getting a little resistance at the 20,000 level here, but distribution days have been so pretty much non-existent in the market, so that's not a major yellow flag yet. But volume did pick up the pace, but orderly decline for the Nasdaq.
Okay, and let's check out the S&P 500. It's back below, it looks like, that 10-day moving average, still above the 21-day and that 6,000 level.
Yeah, the same with the S&P 500. Didn't get as much volume in the on the NYSE today as we did the Nasdaq, but this was another orderly decline. Still trading near the 10-day moving average. Uptrend looks very strong here.
And Ken, any concerns about the Dow and the Russell now moving below their 21-day moving averages?
It really is interesting to me to see blue chips and small caps. They really have been kind of moving in unison in recent weeks. On days where the Dow is leading, you tend to see small caps leading. Today, blue chips and small caps lagged. Both of these indexes fell below their 21-day line. So it brings the possibility of a test for the Dow of the 50-day moving average, and same for the Russell 2000. So we'll have to see. But listen. You look at the market of stocks out there, really not seeing major sell signals among the market leaders. So we're still going to go with this uptrend. We still want to keep monitor distribution days. I think we're going to be at three on the Nasdaq and 3 on the S&P 500 right now. When you start to see distribution days cluster, that sometimes can cause problems for an uptrend. For the Nasdaq, we had a distribution day on Monday. We had another one on Thursday. So not a big deal, but we don't want to see them cluster together, because that can sometimes be too much of a headwind for stocks.
Right. And with more inflation data out this morning, let's check out that 10-year yield here, Ken, up on the day.
Yeah, this is pretty interesting because I saw Ed Carson today on our news editor on IBD Live was this is a noteworthy move. I mean, this 10-year yield was on a pretty sharp downtrend. It just powered right through that 4.2% level, and normally this is going to make the market jittery, and the market was a little jittery today. But like Ed said this morning, I don't think the market's going to want to see this 10-year yield make a strong move up to that 4.4. Level or even higher. So we'll have to keep an eye on interest rates. We'll keep an eye on distribution days in the market, but overall, things are still looking pretty healthy here.
Okay, let's check out Confluent, the ticker here, CFLT. It's in the software database group, which is very strong, ranked number 4 out of the 197 groups that we track. This has been a strong stock in recent months, bottoming around October, most recently testing lows from earlier in the summer and pulling back to find support at a key level as it continues its run.
Yeah, this stock has made a few short, quick pullbacks over the past few weeks, and then it has just continued to move higher. So just keeping an eye on this one, because it's really, like you mentioned, has been a really strong move off lows. Very excuse me, very, very strong fundamentals at Confluent. You can see the company is going to turn its first annual profit this year, and then growth really ramping higher in 2025. Multiple quarters here in a row of triple-digit. Earnings growth and good top line growth as well. So, if we go back to the daily chart here, so we've got a good fundamental picture. And as this stock has rallied, it's done so in very heavy volumes. That's a sign that there are some big investors, institutional investors in there, buying the stock. That's what you want to see. The pullback down to the 21-day looks totally normal. You look at how the stock rose in heavy volume and the declines in fairly light volume. So this is just what you want to see from a technical perspective. Going to keep this one on the watch list and see if it can make a run at over last week's high, Monday's high, or even Friday's high. So I think it's a good one for the watch list. You want to pay attention to stocks that are showing signs of accumulation, and I think Confluent with pretty outstanding fundamentals is still under accumulation here.
Mhm. Let's talk about Quanta Services. This is ticker PWR in the building heavy construction group, also a top quartile group. A bounce off of the 50-day line this week after an orderly pullback. Ken, nice
Yeah,
action.
exactly. I know on yesterday's SMT, we were talking about a lot of pullbacks to the 10-week line, and that's a very important thing to discuss in this market because you look at a name like Quanta Services. First of all, the heavy construction industry group, Quanta specifically provides uh, you know. Uh, contracting services to utilities, oil and gas firms. This group has been ranked very high in our rankings for quite some time. It's still holding strong at number 18. That's because there's broad-based leadership in the group due to strong fundamentals. So Quanta broke out of a base several weeks ago, came down for the first time, touched its 10-week moving average, and now it's making a second test. So we usually like to use the 10-week line to add to a winning position. So for people who bought on the breakout over 276 in that area, they could have been increasing the position when it hit that low of 293, maybe even adding a little more, today. So for new buyers, buying off the 10-week line, if you're going to do it, you just want to, start small and wait for positive feedback from the stock. So buying off the 10-week line is, a reasonable strategy. You just maybe start small, to begin with.
Yeah, it's a great level to manage your risk against for an exit. It's currently trading about 3.7% above the 10-week line. So if you used a decisive break of that level by the end of the week, that is totally within the realm of good risk management.
Yeah, no doubt, and very very healthy relative strength line here too. Even after a pretty shallow pullback, you can see the stock is the relative strength line still holding near highs here. So Quanta, one of the leaders in the group. Since we're on the weekly chart, you can look at the top relative strength stocks in the group, and you see really high quality names like Argan, Sterling Construction, Primoris, Construction Partners. There's just a whole bunch of strong performing stocks in the group, which is what you want to see.
Mhm. Good point there, Ken. Okay, well, let's check out a recent IPO, and that's ticker WAY, Waystar. It's having a strong week, Ken. So through Thursday, up almost 11% after a couple of tight closes right by that 10-week.
Yeah, I mean, this is again a stock that's under accumulation. You can see on the weekly chart these big blue, volume up weeks, and even just this week and the past few weeks, just nice accumulation as this stock moves higher. Relative strength line is a new high ground. Mid cap company with a market cap close to 6 billion. The latest earnings report was pretty solid. If we just scroll down and see what the results look like, yeah, you had a nice 22% increase in revenue. Profit of 14 cents a share. I would look at this, stock still in an alternate buy zone here. I mean, this wasn't a base that the stock broke out of. It was just a short little 4-week consolidation as it held support at the 50-day moving average. So 33.25 seems like a legitimate pivot and still well within that 5% buy
Mhm.
zone.
Yeah. Thank you for putting this on our radar, Ken. All right. Well, that is it for today, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. And Ken, thanks again. Great insights as always.
My pleasure.
And thanks everyone for watching. That is it from us for today, but we will be back with more tomorrow morning on IBD Live, where we're going to be joined by Leif Sereda of Champion Team Trading. And that's at investors.com/IBD Live for all the details to join us. So we'll see you starting 10 minutes before the opening bell. And then, of course, we'll see you right back here tomorrow after the close to wrap up the week.